Alright, I'm a little bit late, but hello, I'll be your commentator, Mill, for this grand finals match. This is gonna be the losers bracket grand finals between Darkhechiser and Unitori. Winner of this guarantees themselves in the top 3, and so far it looks like it's gonna be a banger match so far. 4-4, starting off on Ghoul, but right now Unitor just finding a couple misses, and this lead is pretty close at the moment. It seems like Darkhechiser, as long as he doesn't mess up the ending, he could take this point. Not sure, but here we go. This ending, he's finding a couple of drops. This is getting pretty close. Oh my goodness. 507 points of difference, but in the end, it just wasn't quite enough for Unitori to take that back. And right now, Darkseid can just take advantage of this breakpoint that he's just gotten on LN4. Most likely might just go into one of the rice picks, as usual. In terms of picks, I really think that either Rice 7 or Rice 8 could work for him, to be honest. Those maps don't really seem like maps that Unitori really likes to favor. Especially like the physicality on both those maps might be too much for him. Especially by looking at the scores from Unitori's first match against Ice Defy, he's struggled quite a bit on both of them, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Unitori getting a 97.67 on Dark Dungeon Rice 8. So that seems like a good pick. But Darkshadow's going for Rice 7, or for 6 instead. Wait, no. And joining me in the commentary booth will be Znow, who's a little bit late, but 2 commentators is better than none.
Hello, yes. Quite something's happening, but everything should be fine now. And we are getting into this next pick.
Yep. Darkseid going with Rice 7, the Jack-based mix pick. So far, it's staying pretty even right now. The accuracies are pretty similar, but Darkseid starting to gain a lead from this. Unitori starting to struggle accuracy-wise. Maybe the physicality might be getting to him. He's starting to drop a little bit, but he's still managing to keep this lead close.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense for Dark to be choosing a map like this one, especially with what we saw in the last round that he played in, where he managed to see this map with pretty decent accuracy as well. And probably trying to capitalize off possibly physicality like we've seen with some of these maps, but kind of seeing how something like this Control Galaxy went, I do think this is a little bit of a gamble.
Yeah, that being said, this lead is starting to shrink. Unitori is actually holding on pretty well in the second half of the map. He's starting to chip away this accuracy lead that Darkseid has had. It's starting to shrink below 1k, but Darkseid just holding on to the consistency. If he FCs this like yesterday, this could be sealed for him as long as there's no accuracy drops.
Yeah, I mean, especially with this ending, I would say it's very easy to choke in this part compared to everything else, especially with how long some of these streams go on for.
Yeah, this lead is now starting to grow in Darkreiser's favor, 8k now. Unlike the 1k from earlier, and yeah, it's gonna be a double FC from both Unitori and Darkreiser, but in
Yeah.
the end, accuracy just making the difference.
Yeah, and I believe a better score from Darkhechiser from yesterday. I mean, I think we saw a 987, and today we're seeing a 988.6.
Yeah.
Near 990.
Now, if I were Unitori, I would see that I would look at the scores that Darkhechiser has not really the maps that like he doesn't really like. For example, yesterday he lost, I believe it was Coca, Hybrid 1, which was a map that he really did not like playing against tunnels.
Yeah,
So I would
I would
see him picking Hybrid 1.
yeah, I think Hybrid 1 is probably the best choice if Unitori is able to play it more comfortably, especially kind of seeing how yesterday went.
Yep. There's also Hybrid 3, but I feel like that's way more risky than Hybrid 1, considering that it has really difficult patterns that, you know, not a lot of people enjoy, including Unitori, so Hybrid 1 does seem like, in my opinion, the more safer option, but we'll see. Important to note that these players, before the whole bracket got screwed over, they faced in finals.
Yeah.
And that match went to tiebreaker.
Hybrid
So,
3.
Hybrid 3. I mean, it was either going to be Hybrid 1 or Hybrid 3. Those are the maps that Darkhechiser really struggled on. And those are the only maps that you can really go for at this point.
I mean, I could kind of understand why maybe Hybrid 3. I mean, there is, I would say, a decent amount more physicality required for it compared to Hybrid 1, which I think favors Darkhechiser just a little bit more. But I would say some of the technical aspects within some of these elements could potentially favor Unitori a lot more.
Yeah. Speaking of the tiebreaker from last finals, this is a harder pool, so we'll see if the harder pool makes it a bit more in Darkcheiser's favor this time. And now we're just waiting for the client to get the flip.
Here we go.
Alright, here we go into Hybrid 3. This is a bit of a gamble for Unitori, but then again, what can you really do? It was either Hybrid 1 or Hybrid 3, and, you know, this could work out depending on how he does.
I mean, one thing as well is both these players do have some info on how they both play. I mean, Unitori did go against Ice to Fight in the first match, and then we did see Darkhechiser go against Tunnels in the last match. So I would say they both have somewhat of an idea of what to kind of play, but I think in terms of how these matches go, I would say Unitori has a little bit of an advantage because Unitori did use an SV in their match.
Yep. So far, this is staying close, but this hard sections have not hit him yet. We'll see how Unitori fares on them. I don't believe this was played in is an Ice Defies match, I believe.
Yeah, I don't recall that.
Yeah, but so far, both these players actually struggling quite a bit. Unitori and Darkhechiser just trading misses back and forth. This lead is pretty even.
Yeah, but it looks like Darkhechiser is starting to struggle just a little bit more. But Unitori holding on just ever so slightly, even if that lead is extremely small.
Yeah, I think Unitori having the miscount advantage, I think he's missed a little bit less. Considering this accuracy lead is actually in favor of Darkhechiser at the moment.
Yeah, and a part where you would expect Unitori to maybe capitalize on within the Allen section, you see Unitori drop just a little bit. And a section that I would say favors Darkhechiser just a little bit more, you really start to see the lead shrink away from Unitori.
Yeah. These rice sections favoring Darkhechiser way more than those earlier sections. this lead is now just flipping over to Darkcheiser's side, and as long as he holds, this point is his, and he can just move on to the top two. But as I say that, finds a miss, and the lead flips over, finding another miss. Could this be it?
Yeah, Unitori holding on a little bit more through these L1 parts. And just ending both these players kind of knowing what to expect, I guess. Doing a lot better. I mean, especially compared to last match where we did see Darkhechiser miss a little bit.
But yeah, that's gonna be it. Unitori taking his 5th point. But now this is the hardest part of bringing this to TB. He has to win a Rice pick from Darkhechiser to force this to tiebreaker. And he's gonna go with Rice 3.
Rice 3.
This is an interesting pick, to be honest.
It's interesting, but I think it makes a lot of sense. Because we saw what happened with Rice 1. And a map like this one, I would say, is very similar to Rice 1.
Yeah. At the same time, we can look at both of their scores. They both played Rice 8. I feel like that would have been the better option, in my opinion. This is tech. So, because the score gaps between the scores on Rice 8 are quite a bit large. Unitori having below 98%, while Darkhechiser holding on to 99. So, we'll see what the scores will look like on Rice 3.
Yeah, I mean, I do think either of the Rice choices are still kind of in favor of Darkhechiser. I mean, right now you might see the lead kind of flickering between these two, but as soon as you start to get into, I guess, the later half of this map, it's when things really start to bump up a lot more.
Yeah, we'll see if this pick works out. Unitori holding on to the combo so far through this intro. As this map starts to get a bit more intense, Unitori finding the first drop. That's not what you need. But there's still quite a bit of map left to go. But Darkhechiser needs to find a miss to even this out.
Yeah, I mean, especially just because this isn't even the hardest part within the map. This is only kind of your opening statement into what to really expect in a map like this one.
Yeah, and Unitori actually falling apart in this section right here, dropping below 98% accuracy. And Darkhechiser just looking so much more comfortable with this. I'm not sure if there's any way he can come back from this point. It's already a 35k point gap. It's looking kind of dire for him.
Yeah, I mean, going into the break part, Darkhechiser still holding an FC is really impressive. I mean, this map's still going to continue being really difficult, but I do think it makes a lot of sense why Darkhechiser would have gone with something like this. Especially just because I would say this map is just a little bit harder compared to Rice 1. And we did see Darkhechiser win Rice 1, so it does make a little bit of sense.
Yep, Darkhechiser finding his first miss, but in the end it's not going to matter. This score lead's too big, and Unitori himself finding the miss right after. And, I think...
Potentially Unitori failing out.
I do not know what just happened. That looked like Darkhechiser failed for some reason.
Yeah, Darkhechiser failed. I'm not too sure what happened.
Looking at the chat, he says Xbox things, and over the top that.
Oh.
If this is how, because that map was heavily in Darkcheiser's favor. If that happens, and that's how he goes to B, that might be a little bit sad, but we'll see how things turn out. I also wonder if that was like way too long of the map to redo at that point.
It looks like we doing. I mean, both players do seem to be completely fine with it.
Alright, so it seems like we're gonna redo this. So, alright, attempt 2.
I mean, potentially with a little bit more familiarity, potentially Unitori could just do slightly better. I mean, knowing what
really
to
has
kind of expect.
he really has to improve on this second run. Because right now, I mean, Darkhechiser finds the first miss, but it's really all up to Unitori to just hold on for the rest of the map.
Yeah, I mean, even with that early miss, it's not really going to cost them too much, just because it is an early miss, and you usually should be more worried about misses in the kind of later half of this map.
Yep.
Because that lead might be just ever so slightly in favor of Unitori if he could get close to Darkhechiser's accuracy, but from what we're seeing here, I mean, it's still in Darkhechiser's favor.
Yeah, like you said, accuracy is playing a big factor into this. Darkhechiser, despite the miss at the start, already has the lead. And right now, Unitori actually holding on a bit better this time for the combo, but as I say that, he finds a miss.
Yeah, I mean, doing just a little bit better compared to last time. I mean, you could definitely tell that being able to kind of know what to expect is slightly helping. You do still see Unitori show a little bit, but not as bad as before.
Yeah, but then again, it's still not enough. 22k is the score difference right now. This second half, he really has to make up a lot in the second half. Darkhechiser not performing as well. He did held an FC on the first try for this part.
I mean, we'll definitely have to kind of wait and see how the second half treats both these players, though.
Yeah, Unitori really struggling right now. I think the physicality just kind of getting to him on the pool, on the tech map.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this is a really smart choice, though, in all senses. Just because, I mean, we've already stated the obvious, but this map also being a lot longer compared to some other Rise picks.
Yeah, stamina could be a factor in these sections. Right now, Unitori dropping below 97 now. I think it's already over halfway. Unitori just not able to find any combo at all.
Yeah, especially as we're kind of getting into a bit of a calmer part.
Yeah, this score lead is way too big, and considering Darkhechiser just way more comfortable with this type of map at this level of difficulty, I think it's safe to call at this point. Unless he just finds a fall apart disconnect again, this is probably going to go into Darkhechiser's favor.
Yeah, I mean, Unitori is trying to climb back into that 97 range, but Darkhechiser is staying really consistent. That 99 range, really impressive, especially for a map like of this caliber.
Yeah, at this point, there's no coming back at this point.
Unitori dropping just at the very end of the difficult sections.
Yep.
But just like that, it is going to go towards Darkhechiser, which does mean that Unitori will be placing third. Darkhechiser moving on to face Icetified tomorrow.
Yeah. Now we will Darkhechiser, like you said, heading on to the grand finals to face Icetified in the winners bracket. Unitori exiting out in third, and it's been a good run for him, to be honest. Getting third
Oh yeah,
on the
definitely.
on the podium as well. He's getting a piece of the prize pool. It was a close match, to be honest, 7-5, but he just wasn't able enough to force the tiebreaker in the end.
Yeah, I mean, especially in a pool of this difficulty, getting these close of a matchup is just really impressive. But Darkhechiser will be moving on into the final match against Icetified. Unless you have anything else to say, I think we can close it here.
Yeah, one final match of this entire tournament tomorrow, and then it'll all be over.
I had a long journey, but we're almost there. So stay tuned for tomorrow at 16 UTC. I've been your commentator, Znow, joined with Mel. And unless you have anything else to say, you can sign off.
Yep.